All rise. Hear ye, hear ye. The Hamblen County Commission meeting is now in session. The Honorable Chris Cutshaw presiding. Please remain standing.
Thank you, Harley. Good evening, everyone. We are gathered together for our regularly scheduled monthly meeting this Thursday, June the 20th, 2024. As we get started, I'd like to call on Commissioner Horner, please, to lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for this day, for the many blessings that you've given us, and thank you for the opportunity to serve this community, and most of all, to serve you. We ask that you lead each one until tonight, lead each commissioner, and guide and bless and all that you do.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Hong, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, sir. Face the flag, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Present.
We have 12 present. We have a quorum. We are ready to move forward. Tonight, first on our agenda here in Hamblen County. First, let me address something else. Folks, at the back of the room, there is a sign-in sheet. If you would like to address this committee in order, you can sign that sheet and you will be called up to do so. If you don't want to sign, that's fine. You can still be called. You'll just have to state your name and address. That said, this body operates by Robert's Rules of Order. We do have local rules that supersede such order. We have public comment guidelines also at the rear of the room if you'd like to have a copy of those. And if you are here, well, we can address that later. Here in Hamblen County, in the month of June, this is Dairy Month. Is Sarah Jarnigan with us tonight? She is not. So let me say this, that the office of the Hamblen County Mayor has proclaimed June as Dairy Month here in Hamblen County. Just needed that to be stated for fact. Item number two, public comments. We will start with regarding general and non-agenda items. And before we do so, folks, yes, Kyle, please. Thank you. I just need to remind everybody of our rules as far as speaking. We have 3 minutes per speaker, but there is a 30-minute time limit. If you have more than 10 speakers, then you may want to elect certain ones to speak on this item. That said, we will entertain all general and non-agenda items to be heard, and hopefully you can have your voice let out. Okay, we'll move into item 2A regarding general and non-agenda items. First on the list, Mr. Pellegrin.
Thank you, sir. May I hand these out?
Excuse me?
May I hand these out?
You can. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioners. At the last meeting 10 days ago, it was mentioned that a zoning change may be needed for the Red Barn, the Great Smoky Farm, or the neighbors should pursue a civil action lawsuit. Please let me clarify on both of these issues. First, when it was brought up at the zoning board meeting in August of 2022, Chris, the owner, stood before the board and mentioned before a single person in the neighborhood even spoke, said that we're going to be telling lies and we're all racist, and the board did not stop him from making these accusations. He mentioned he had been doing this for 8 years and only now do the neighbors have an issue. He's wrong on both counts, as the petition was presented in 2015 for the noise, and he had just started having bands playing at the venue in December 2021. Next, the board said forget about the noise issue and only consider whether it should be in a C1 zone. There was an email presented at the planning commission where it was stated that there be certain parameters met. The zoning board voted to approve this even though it was asked that the parameters be met before handing approval. The board said no since the state fire marshal did not shut them down. As you can see from the email, in section 2, it was stated that the applicant must have permits for the building and follow ADA requirements, safety codes, egress, and any renovations, etc. Section 3 also states they should call the fire marshal if occupancy reaches more than 300. This was not done either. Section 4 says that a permit from TDEQ and also the plot plan must show the sewer system being used. It was not done. Section 6 also states that access points for the site plan must be approved by the City of Morristown or TDOT. That was not done. You can read the other violations for yourself. I am the one actually who called the state fire marshal saying that owners were locking egress doors and not having fire extinguishers. And 2 weeks later, the mayor was informed the manager to come to his office to discuss the code violation. I would not have been able to live with myself if I didn't do something and somebody would have gotten hurt. That's why I called. It was brought up about a nuisance ordinance, I believe, at the last meeting in 2003. If this is the case, then why hasn't any citation been given to Red Barns for loud noise or partying when there has been over 26 complaints by more than 10 different neighbors? Even though it may be only $50, it wouldn't force the legal action it wouldn't force the legal action one to be taken. I also include a copy of the calls I made to the manager if you could lower the sound. As you can see, there was no response. Why should the courts be bothered with this? I called DDQ to find out if any permits were given to the Great Smoky Farm LLC. They informed me they could not find any. Enclosed, you will find the request and reply of any permits that I made. You will find the request and reply if any permits that may be on file at the address of 2008, from 2008 on, and the answer was none. The Great Smoky Farm poured concrete on the floor, added a cinder block wall outside, blocking egress.
Excuse me, Mr. Pellegrin, your time is up.
Mr. Chairman, could we let him go ahead and finish?
We have a second vote. All in favor?
Amen.
Continue.
The Great Smoky Farm poured concrete on the floor, added a cinder block wall outside blocking the egress door, put soundproofing inside on the walls and ceiling, added an underground sewer system and a bathroom. I hear and see them adding or renovating something on the inside right now. Where are all these permits? I may not have all the answers or blame anyone, but it should have given enough doubt that this should be investigated and looked into. I even forgive Chris and pray that he has a change of heart. And thank you, and God bless you all. Dan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next on our list is Miss Ellis. No, sir, you're out of order at the moment. It's Miss Ellis's term. You will have your turn, though.
Okay.
You will. Yeah, that's fine. You will have your turn, I promise. You will.
My name is Wendy Ellis. I was born and raised here. Still have my childhood home here. First off, I want to apologize for being out of order last session, last month. We get heated on things and passionate, and I don't plan on getting out of order this time. I'm sure that y'all watched the news last night. And we are not talking about unsanitary living here. If people are hooked up with extension cords, no septic, no nothing, then yes, they are a problem. And we all can agree upon that. But these people, homes that y'all are kicking out, they gave them a 90-day extension. 90 days. If they couldn't better their place at that time in 90 days, they ain't going to be able to do it again in another 90 days. When y'all put these people out in 90 more days, y'all are putting them out of their homes when it is starting to get cold out and they need shelter the most. And if I have to remind you again, shelter is one of the basic needs to survive. Now, I have over 500 signatures online on the petition. This stack right here is registered voters in this county that took time and personally come and signed this petition themselves that will be voting come next election. And if y'all don't change your ways and amend or grandfather these campers that has a septic hooked to all utilities, properly hooked to utilities, you all become voted out next 2 years. So you better enjoy the seats that you're sitting in.
Thank you for your comments. Next on our list is Ms. Marshall. You decline, okay. Next is Ms. Poe. Is that correct? Ms. Neesmith Poe?
First of all, I want to say thank you for letting me speak. I have, it's on the camper situation. As everyone knows here, the economy is really super bad now. And if anybody buys a home, it takes 2 checks coming in. Some of them are even working 2 jobs. If they are hooked up to septic, electric, as long as the water and everything, I don't see it that there's a problem on private land. I also, the guy that lives on mine, I help him go to the doctor, and he's on oxygen every night. And put him out, what's he gonna do? The affordable living, he's on a fixed income. Affordable living is 2 years out. I've even tried to get him in there. But I wish you would all think about this and grandfather them in if possible. The ones that are hooked up. And another thing, I don't know how you came about. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I can name at least 25 that I know has not even got a letter. They're not even hooked up to nothing. And I don't understand that. Thank you.
Mr. Reed, you are recognized.
Thank you. Sorry for earlier.
Fine. It's fine.
Nigel Reed,
Yes, sir.
and I'm currently homeless. And listening to these ladies, I mean, talking about you people that probably have like about a 50 to 100 something $1,000 house are putting people out of their homes. I can't believe that. This is my first time being here in over a year. And I'm hearing this garbage. I mean, it's senseless. And you people go home, be with your family, and really think you did a good job. It's crazy. Oh, I want to speak about the sheriff.
Excuse me, sir, we don't get personal now. You can
I'm not
address
getting
this
personal.
commission.
I'm trying to help him get an office over there at the new jail.
You need to address the commission, not the
Okay,
sheriff, please.
well-
Yes, sir.
I want you people to help the sheriff, his deputies, his captain, lieutenants, sergeants. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm the one that campaigned and petitioned the county commission and the city to build that brand new jail. I'm the one that mentioned that the judges, the clerks, Don Baird, all of them are breathing in that mold because it comes up. It doesn't stay down with the inmates. And that's crazy. Anybody with any common sense knows that black mold is extremely dangerous. And to have his staff over there, and even him, I mean, he's a pretty firm guy. I mean, black mold in years is going to tear him down. So, I mean, you have a lot of land over there. Just L it out. And put the sheriff and all his
deputies, male and female, over there with their health. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Peace. I'm out.
Thank you. That concludes our list. However, is there anyone else in our audience that would like to address this commission regarding non-agenda items? Start the clock, please. No, she's up. She's up. I'm sorry, sir. She's up.
Did you want to talk?
While I'm passing out information on the road department and the private act, I would like to say I do support grandfathering in campers that have proper electric, water, and I'm not going to say sewer, but proper sanitation or waste disposal, much as Commissioner Dodu, who's not here tonight, proposed at the Planning Commission last meeting. What I've passed out regards a situation at the road department involving former Road Commissioner Gail Free. The first sheet shows that there was a meeting on December 12th, 2023, Road Department. Ms. Free was there, as were all the other 6 road commissioners. If you look on the second page, under new business, second paragraph, it said Chairman Hyde advised districts 13 and 14 do not have anyone qualified to run at this time. Also, Commissioner Free, Gail Free, has moved from District 3 and 4, and no one has qualified at this time for road commissioner. You also have a copy of the Hamblen County Road Department Private Act. It states, on the first page, Section 1, if any road commissioner moves his residence from the road district from which he is elected, his office shall thereby be vacated. In such case, resignation, etc., the county legislative body shall elect some qualified person from the road district to fill the vacancy. She vacated her position at least on December 12th, 2023, and she may have moved prior to that. Nobody has been able to state with certainty when she actually moved. She vacated her position, and yet she continued to be paid as road commissioner for over 3.5 months after that. Who is going to take care of getting that money back for Hamblen County taxpayers? In a previous situation involving Stansel Ford, there was a citizen who had to file suit to get money back that he unlawfully took when he acted on the Solid Waste Board and as the Solid Waste Board interim landfill director. This should not be that way. It's your duty to take care of Hamblen County money. Quit telling the citizens, you go sue, you go do that, you take care of the noise. Stand up and get the money back.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Thank
your
you.
comments. Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission? We've got one other behind you. Yes, sir. Go ahead. State your name and your address, please.
My name is Robert Short II, 322 Gilbert Street, Morristown, Tennessee. Also on a piece of property on 419 Pine Brook Road. It's right across the street from the metal recycling facility. I've been somewhat upgrading the property, put up an 8-foot tall fence. 2016, I was denied under a spot zoning. 2024, recently in June, denied again. They basically told me to no complaints, just keep on operating illegally, be an outlaw truck driver. So I've been looking up under notifications on the non-conforming clause. It applies a new notification requirement in addition to public notice. It would require notice by certified mail at least 30 days prior to a public hearing or a zoning change. That would create a new non-conforming use, Tennessee Code Annotated 13-7-511. So what I found under non-conforming, and it So a new statute of law, the 13-7-504, it eliminates the 30-month period and presents law after which a discontinued non-conforming use may not be reestablished. This would mean that a non-conforming use could cease to operate for any period of time and still be reestablished. In order to reestablish and abandon, the local government still to show initial and voluntarily abandonment of the non-conforming use. Discontinuous of the use is not considered abandonment. So technically, if the campers wanted to try that method of a non-conforming use, so the reason why zoning was technically even created in the common law doctrine, it was a nuisance. People would complain of a nuisance between the neighbors. They had to go through the court system. So that's why basically we moved to today working through elected officials rather than through courts to ensure access to affordable dispute resolutions to every landowner or resident adversely affected by another land use choices. It also makes it possible for the community to prevent nuisances by working through its elected officials to an established standards for land use improvements. So basically, instead of sending out a certified letter to everyone, this is my notice. Y'all have the 30 days to challenge the non-conforming status of a statute change. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission?
I'm Gwen Holden. I live at 8150 West Point Drive, and I thank God I'm not homeless. Amen. I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. But I'm the lady that sued Stansel Ford, and I'd do it again. Amen. Because the Solid Waste Board didn't have backbone to do it. I did. And you know what? I think you all should get the money back from Gail Free. That's only right. It's taxpayers' money. This is a sickening time we live in, that our officials can get by with what they get by with, and then look down their noses at the taxpayers that's paying the taxes. And yeah, you all pay taxes too, but still it's not right. And I'm for the campers to be grandfathered in. If you can grandfather in junkyards out in Road Junction, where I had to move because I couldn't get the community cleaned up because I didn't have an elected official that really didn't give a flip about it.
Yes.
Can we redirect this line of questioning or comments? Because it
Okay.
has nothing to do with
You live in it, you'd feel the same way. I had a nice place.
Chairman.
Address the commission,
Still
please,
have a nice
Ms.
place
Holden.
out there. But I don't like what happened to me. And most of us, I don't, because vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. I will repay, not win hold it. But I will do my part. So I am for you to grandfather them in. You grandfather everything else, go ahead and grandfather that in. And some of them campers look a lot better than some of your county commissioners' homes.
Thank you for your comments. City clock's not working. Our overhead timekeeper is not working. Our clerk is keeping it on her phone. Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission? You have 3 minutes to do so. Sir, I'm sorry, sir. We have to move on. You've had your 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
I'm Deborah Minyard, and I live on Shillsbury Road, and I'm here to address the camper. My father-in-law moved here from Kentucky, and there was nobody else to take care of him. We put him in our camper. We had lights, we had sewer, and we had water. So I think that you all trying to put these people out on the streets is wrong. In the economy, the way it is, these people are barely living. They're barely getting by.
and y'all want to put them out. Where are they going to stay? In a tent? And you talk about the sewer problem. Y'all know that the sewer plant over here released thousands and thousands of gallons of sewer into Cherokee Lake on a daily basis.
It's true.
For so many years. We had to go down and pick the needles up. We had to pick the tampon covers up. We had to pick all that up off of Cherokee Lake on the lake banks. And you talk about a camper releasing sewer, that's nothing compared to what the city of Marshtown released at Cherokee Park and different places. And I think it's wrong if y'all try to put these people out. And you know the old saying, they say karma's I just think it's wrong. And I think these people should be able to live how they're living. They should be able to survive without living in a tent. With the weather fixing to get hotter and hotter and colder, these people need a place to live. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. You good? Is there anyone else that'd like to address this commission? State your name and your address, please.
Mike John Cox, 3121 Three Springs Road. I've also stated before here about grandfathering the campers, the ones that meet certain requirements. I see no reason to infringe on that. There's been no complaints against them. The ones that caused all this, get them in violation, get them out. That said, possibly, I'm hoping that all you commissioners will keep an open mind of maybe compromising somewhere. It doesn't have to be either or. Either we allow it or we don't allow it. Possibly do it on a permit thing, annual permit. I've emailed every one of you my thoughts on this. If it's money, then put a little fee on the permit. That's all. But also, I want you to take Mr. Pellegrin's concerns about that noise ordinance expeditiously and seriously. We've got one that's wanting to start up again on Three Springs Road. I live a mile down the road from it, and I can hear the beat from last year. I like living in the rural. All I want to hear is cattle, roosters, and tractors. I don't want to hear garbage. I want to stay rural. You want to have the venues, put it somewhere else, but not out in agricultural property and where we're at. But anyways, thank you, and I hope you keep an open mind.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission on non-agenda items? Seeing none, for clarification, I do want everyone with their concerns, thank you for bringing them to this body. The biggest thing that I've got for you to petition is the Planning Commission. They have work to do. The Planning Commission will be taking this up before it comes to the County Commission. Once the County Commission gets it, we'll take under recommendation what the Planning Commission does. Otherwise, we don't need the Planning Commission. That said, that's how that would normally flow. I just want everyone to understand that we hear you. There's a lot of work to be said, and as far as the lady and the letters that haven't been sent to those that are in violation, I can't answer to that. If there's some that have not received a letter, I can't answer that. There is no favoritism that I'm aware of. If someone's been pointed out, they should have received a letter. Let's move on to 2B, regarding agenda items, and we do have on our list, Mr. Short, you're recognized. Okay, I got you. So. Is there anyone that would like to address this commission on agenda items only? You have 3 minutes to do so.
Illinois 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I'd like to briefly address the budget such as it is. Your budget process was one I've never seen before, and I have watched County Commission for 25 years or more. A 5-hour meeting on a Saturday. The budget is supposed to be the people's budget, I realize you all have the authority over it, but this whole budget process was so flawed in so many ways. Never have you done it this way that I know of. Public can't come on Saturdays, or generally can't. That's hopefully reserved for family, children's activities, other items. The other item would be when you vote on this. I have seen in the past several years that there have not been declarations of conflicts of interest. Now, I know some of you did that during the budget committee, and that's good. But it applies as well during this process regarding either whether you have a direct conflict of interest and you can't vote on it, or you have an indirect conflict of interest. And I hope you will declare those indirect conflict of interest prior to voting on the budget. Where there's a conflict for your spouse works for the school system, or you work for the school system, or you have, you have a position on one of the nonprofits that's being voted on. I hope you'll acknowledge that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission on agenda items this evening? You have 3 minutes to do so. Seeing none, we'll move forward. Item 4, call on Vice Chair Horner tonight for the calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 4A, approval of the consent calendar items, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Let's let our clerk catch up just a moment. It's all right. Take your time. We will. Do you want to try to reboot? Take your time. Okay, we do have a motion. We need a second. We're already voting. Okay, Mr. Richardson is seconding that motion.
It's reset. So
All right,
we made
reset.
the motion, I'm sorry.
Mr. Horner made the motion. Now we need a second. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item on the consent calendar? Yes, Commissioner Green.
Yes, sir. I'd like to see Mr. Capps' bill for May 31st pulled for discussion, please. I'm sorry.
I didn't catch it. What did you say?
Mr. Capps' bills for May 31st.
Is your
please.
mic on? Is your mic on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it didn't sound like it was. Thank you.
Oh, you're fine, honey. I'm usually loud enough people can hear me.
State your point again, please.
I'd like to have the bills from planning for May 31st, Mr. Capps, pulled for discussion, please. And let me clarify, it's the one for planning, sir.
Got you. Okay, is that all you need?
Yeah, that, no, just want it pulled and then discussion, please.
All right, we will remove that item then. We have that's automatic. We will remove this item that she spoke of. That is automatic. It moves to number 5 on our calendar. Discussion of the May 31st bills from planning. That's automatic move. Is there any other questions? Any other discussion on this item? On the consent calendar? Seeing none, let's vote this motion minus the May 31st bills. Mr. Neesmith. Thank you, sir. And this motion passes.
Item 4B, approval of the regular calendar items. Before we do that, we have some additions. Add 9B, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to enter an agreement with Windstream Company to relocate fiber optic lines for the Justice Center project. I'll need a motion on that.
Let's take a motion on that. Does everyone understand there's a item to be added to our regular calendar? Resolution 2421 for the mayor to go into negotiation with Windstream to relocate our fiber optic cable.
Make a motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item to be added to our regular calendar? Seeing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Debbie Ahern. Yes. Chris Cutshaw.
Aye.
Edna Green.
Yes.
Stan Harville.
Yes.
Bobby Hahn.
Aye.
Tim Horner.
Yes.
Peggy Howell. Yes. Rodney Long.
Yes.
Mike Reed.
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Wayne Easton.
Yes.
Kyle Walker.
Yes.
And this motion carries. That will be added to our regular calendar. Mr. Horner?
Also, in addition, item 11J, resolution authorizing the Hamblen County Sheriff's Office to apply for the statewide School Resource Officer SRO program grant in the amount of $1,350,000. And I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? And that was Commissioner Walker. Commissioner Walker seconded that motion. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Debbie Ahern. Yes. Chris Cutshaw.
Aye.
Edna Green.
Yes.
Stan Harville.
Yes.
Bobby Hahn.
Aye.
Tim Horner.
Yes.
Peggy Howell.
Yes.
Rodney Long.
Yes.
Mike Reed.
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Wayne Easton.
Yes.
Kyle Walker.
Yes.
And this motion carries.
Also, in addition, 11K, the communication system at the new Justice Center, the RFP 2024 and 05.
What was
And I'll
that
entertain
number?
a motion.
Couldn't hear the number.
It's 11K. It will be added as 11K in your
Okay.
agenda. If the motion approves, it will be added as 11K.
So moved.
Was that for the motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Ahern.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Hahn. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, let's vote this motion, please, to amend our regular calendar.
Debbie Ahern. Yes. Chris Cutshaw.
Aye.
Edna Green.
Yes.
Stan Harville.
Yes.
Bobby Hahn.
Aye.
Tim Horner.
Yes.
Peggy Howell.
Yes.
Rodney Long.
Yes.
Mike Reed.
Yes.
Mike Richardson.
Yes.
Wayne Easton.
Yes.
Kyle Walker.
Yes.
This motion carries. So now let's, Chairman Horner, go back to the original motion.
Item 4B, the approval of the regular calendar items, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second on the board. Just for clarification, this includes the 3 amendments that we just added to this motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote this motion, please. this motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Chair Horner. We will now move to item 5, items removed from consent calendar automatically. If you'll go to, it's in your finance, behind the Finance Committee, Hamblen County Planning Department. Commissioner Green has questioned the bill for 5/31/2024. Commissioner Green, you're recognized.
I'm just curious as to, I know I'm attorney client, but what was that about? We have so much stuff with planning and everything else and campers. I'm just curious, could our attorney at least give us a summary?
If the attorney so wishes. Excuse me one second. Excuse me, sir.
That's what we think about having fun with it. I'm not sure, if this body wants me to respond to that and waive whatever privilege there might exist, I'm fine with telling that what we talked about. But, I don't wanna set a precedent of
Yes, sir.
any commissioner just asking me something about my bill and what we
Yes, sir.
talked about.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's not kosher, this is not an investigation, it's not under subpoena, I'm not under oath.
Right.
None of that. So, if this body wants to hear what I think was discussed and what I know was discussed, I'll be glad to tell, but just one individual, person asking, I don't think that's proper.
Okay. There's your response.
Well, Benz, you were present at that meeting. Would you elaborate on it, sir?
I would concur with him at the moment.
Okay, may I make a suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
Anytime someone answers, ask them to speak to the mic so that everyone listening to this meeting will be able to hear clearly and concisely, sir.
I agree. Is that what you need, or you?
Well, I didn't answer my question, but I didn't expect any less from our county attorney.
All right, let's move to item 6, please. Approval of the county, approval of the consent calendar. I need a motion.
So moved.
Chairman, Commissioner Horner, we need a second. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on the approval of the consent calendar? Seeing none, let's vote this motion, please. And this motion carries. Folks, we will now recess our Hamblen County Legislative Body for an open public hearing. Resolution 2416 to amend zoning map of Hamblen County, Tennessee by rezoning District 04, Tax Map 051, Parcel 056.00, address of 4656 Old Lowland Road, Morristown, Tennessee 37813. That zoning change is from A1 to I1. Is there anyone here that would like to address this body in such matter? Seeing none, hearing none, we will now close our public hearing. And we will now reconvene as a Hamblen County Legislative Body. We will take up item 8, rezoning resolution. Resolution 2416 to amend the zoning map of Hamblen County, Tennessee by rezoning District 04, Tax Map 051, Parcel 056.00, address of 4656 Old Lowland Road, Morristown, Tennessee 37813, from A1 to I1. Do we have a motion?
Good motion.
We have a motion with Mr. Richardson. We have a second from Commissioner Ahern. Is there any discussion on this item of rezoning?
We've got to be fast on the board here. Got to get fast to get a motion or a
Oh, I
second
got
around
you.
here.
Seeing no discussion, let's vote this motion, please. And this motion carries. Move to item 9A. Chairman Horner of the Justice Center Public Safety Committee, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 9A, change order number 21 for $33,527. I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on this item of 9A? Commissioner Green, you're recognized.
I have one question, sir. We've been promised at some point we would hear as far as the contract attorney and negotiations over items that we questioned. So are we any further on that? Could I get an answer from the mayor, please?
We have a motion on the floor that does not concern the item that you're requesting.
Okay.
I can't answer your question at the moment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to discuss the item on the floor? Seeing none, let's vote this motion, please. Mr. Neesmith? Thank you, sir.
Been a while.
11 yea, 1 nay.
And this motion carries.
Item 9B, Resolution 2421, and I put that in form of a motion.
Okay, we have this will be off the board, correct, clerk? All right, this motion is off the board. We have a motion, this is for the resolution 2421 to relocate the fiber optic cables. We have a motion on the floor from Chairman Horner. Do we have a second?
Second.
Excuse me?
Second.
Commissioner Walker, sorry, it wasn't carrying. Commissioner Walker is second the motion. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, let's vote this motion, please. Roll call.
Judy Ahern,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Edna Green,
No.
Stan Harville,
Yes.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Joe Hudson, sorry, Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Kyle Walker.
Yes.
11 to 1.
And this motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Moving out to item 10A, move into our budget. Chairman Hahn, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 10A, Resolution 2417, the resolution fixing the tax levy in Hamblen County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024. I make that a motion.
We have a motion, and we do have a second. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, hearing none, we will now vote this motion.
Yea, 2 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 10B, a resolution 2418, making appropriations for the various funds, departments, institutions, offices, agencies of Hamblen County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. And I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 1 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 10C, resolution 2419, making appropriations for two nonprofit, charitable, and civic organizations of Hamblen County, Tennessee for year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025. And I make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Yea, 2 nay.
And this motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. One moment, please. Keep it in consent, please. Yes. Thank you, Chairman Hahn. We'll now move to item Item 11, Finance Committee, Chairman Hahn, you are once again recognized.
Thank you, sir. Item 11A, financing for middle school walls, Resolution 2420. A resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds of Hamblen County, Tennessee in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $13,500,000. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
Yeah. These are the bonds, that's where they're gonna tear the walls out and redo them in the middle schools.
Yes, sir. I believe that's where they're actually going to add walls.
Okay, back in the day, under the last superintendent of schools, he told us in a meeting that the school board was gonna take care of that fee. You can go back and check your records. And that's what he told us.
Amen.
He particularly talking about Lincoln, that he was gonna go in and, they was gonna go in and do that. And I don't know why we just forgot about it or what, but I remember it. That's all I've got to say about it.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that'd like to discuss this matter? Hearing none, seeing none, we will vote this motion.
Yea, 1 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 11B, contract for consulting brokerage services between Hamblen County Government and Mark III Brokerage Incorporated. I make the motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Yea, 1 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 11C, employee health clinic lease renewal. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item for renewing the lease? Commissioner Howell?
Yes, they're renewing the lease at on property that is owned by the 911, is that right?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am. Mayor will address this one.
okay.
No, the lease is for property that's owned by Tom Strait and his partner. It's
Oh, the employee thing.
yes.
Got it. Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Commissioner Green, you're recognized.
Quick question.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that the one that we split with the city, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It's there in your packet.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
And this motion carries.
Item 11D, Kroger National Opioid Settlement. I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and we do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
11 yea, 1 nay.
This motion passes.
Item 11E, gifting county vehicle to Soil Conservation District, Surplus County, 2013 Chevrolet Impala VIN number 6897. I make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote this motion, please.
Yea, 1 abstain.
And this motion carries.
Item 11E2, gift a 2013 Chevrolet Impala VIN number 6897. I make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Eleven yea, one abstain.
And this motion carries.
Item 11F, bid tabulation 2024-03, JMS, RMS, New Justice Center. Mr. Mayor.
On June the 6th, we opened bids for 2 or 3 different software packages and that the jail staff will be using in the new facility. I would like to talk about together would be the JMS RMS, which is the bid tab that has the two companies on it. One is ISOMS and the other is PTS Solutions. The JMS is Jail Management System and RMS is Record Management System. And those are used by the Sheriff's Department. The jail, of course, has the JMS, and then Patrol and is the RMS system. Currently, we use PTS Solutions, which is one of the bidders, and we are the last county in Tennessee to use that software. We've been using it. 2016 is when we started using it. Our experience has been has not met our expectations. Let's put it that way. And so the bid, two companies came back with the bid. One was ISOMS, and you'll see on the bid tab at $119,000 that installs the system, provides training, data conversion, and also the first year of maintenance for using the ISOM system. PTS Solutions, the total, what's shown on your sheet is $32,790 for installation, and then the $29,998 for the first year of support. Those are separate. So combined, it's $62,788. So that's what we should, as far as money goes, that's what we should be comparing. Now, so if you'll put that on hold for a second, as far as the cost of the JMS RMS system, and let's talk about the inmate communications bids. That this was the item that was added to the agenda. If you'll look at this tab right here that has the green line in it, we had 6 companies submit bids on this software or this function. And what's different about this is it doesn't cost us anything. What we're looking at is what company will pay us the most money to offer inmate telephone service, inmate video visitation, and those types of services, email, texting, the law library, those types of services that would be provided to the inmates and that they pay for. And then we get a portion of what they pay. And so our evaluation committee evaluated these 6 companies. They're recommending CTC, which is City Telecoin, which has it had a if you look across on the green line, that's CTC's offer. And basically, the bottom line at the very far right is they're offering $185,000 in tech bonuses or tech grants, so to speak, that they would reimburse us for purchases of technology that would benefit the Sheriff's Department. And so during the first year, it's $133,000 is what they would pay us. And that is what we would use to pay for the ISOM's JMS program. And so, and then we would apply the rest of it to offset the maintenance cost of the JMS program for the subsequent 3 years. The communications function, let me just tell you a little bit about it and what it does, and this will really help the Sheriff's Department. First, it offers telephone service for the inmates. There'll be telephone kiosks in each of the housing units. There'll be video visitation. That could be done on tablets that this company will supply. The tablets would do video visitation. The inmate handbook would be on the tablet. Grievance procedures and PREA video would be on the tablet, as well as the law library. Text, email, and mail would all be on that as well. So there would be a tablet for inmates under this arrangement, under this contract. So I guess the bottom line for us right now is that we recommend the ISOM software for JMS, RMS at $119, and then the CTC for the communication system, which will pay us enough money in year one to pay for ISOMs. So there won't be any general fund money, basically, or any tax money that pays for that system. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Gino Hambrick, chairman of our transition team, is also here. Yes.
We have this system now, not the same one, but we have our own system where they can use the phone and the county collects the money.
Yes.
And do we have any of these other, like visitation?
We
Yeah.
have, you want to?
Right now, for visitation reasons.
Come up to microphone.
Smart Communications is who we're using for video visitation right now. And our phones is a separate company, with Securus. Two different companies right now, and we're going to combine it into one.
And you don't have the tablets?
No, sir.
Okay. How much do we make a year off of what we've got right now?
We're averaging, what we have averaged over the last 2 years is $2,900 a month. And so what CTC is guaranteeing us is $20,000 a month. That's a guarantee over the 4-year period. And
So
then
what-
if the commissions generate more than $20,000, then we get the higher amount.
You go over the usage.
Except for now we do get the guarantee, regardless of the usage,
Yeah.
based on if we average 350 inmates,
Right.
we get $20,000 guaranteed.
Okay.
For contracting with them to provide those services.
And if they use it more, we
We
get more.
We get more.
So before we was getting 29,000.
2,900
2,900
a month.
a month, 30,000 a year. And this guarantee is $20,000 a year. Month.
This is a much better deal than
Yeah,
what
it's
we've
a lot
got.
better deal. Less headache?
Absolutely. It has a lot more functions. It's got the ability to inmate programming like GED, drug rehab, a lot of different programs go along with it that would hopefully keep inmates busy.
Tablets got cameras on them?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well, they have a built-in camera for the visitation part of it, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other discussion on this item? We've not taken a motion. Okay. Commissioner Long?
On the annual support, Mr. Mayor, is that $20,000, is that guaranteed to stay at 20,000, or will that?
Yeah, from what I understand from reading it, is if during that 4-year period, it's a guarantee, and if we
decide to re-up with them, they're gonna keep that guarantee for every year we up with them.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Green?
One question, Mr. Mayor. Is there a minimum or, I mean, we've got the guarantee, where is the minimum or not?
20,000.
Of 20,000. The way I'm understanding you is we're guaranteed 20,000 whether there's less than 350 prisoners or more.
No, on your bid tab, if you'll look at this table right here, it breaks it down in that if we have less than 350, if our ADP is less than 350, then it's based on a 70% commission.
Okay.
And then if it goes over, if it goes to 400, then we get
That was it.
22.5 a month.
Okay.
So it all depends on population.
That answers my question. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I make that motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If we could have two motions, one for the JMS and one for the inmate communication.
One second. We're broke out on the board for these, for both of these? Yes, JMS. So we've got one on the board and the next one will be off the board, is that? Okay.
We'll start with the JMS. It will be on the board. I make that motion.
We've got a motion, we've got a second. Is there any more discussion on the JMS / RMS for the new Justice Center? Commissioner Howell?
Yes. I hope somewhere in a high school or maybe a grocery store, or I don't know, but somewhere, I hope we say to a young person, by golly, should you get in there, new jail, old jail, it'll cost your family that much a billion. You know, it's tough to say, we're gonna, I mean, we have to pay for this system, but I don't think we have citizens who are aware, and we do have some that don't care. But I hope our young people understand the cost of being incarcerated. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item? Let's vote this motion. That is item 11F. This motion carries. As we move forward, Chairman Hahn, we will make this F1.
Okay. 11F1 is, we've already addressed that. The RMS New Justice Center Communications. I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Commissioner Richardson, second. Hearing none, excuse me? Yes, sir.
This is the communication part, or is?
Yes.
This is, okay.
Yes.
This is RMS.
Yes, and the way I understand, just for clarification, this was in the same bid tabulation and they coincide with one another.
Yes, I mean, that's how we're
Right.
proposing it,
Okay.
yes. And
Three-
CTC, yeah, the City Coin is the recommended vendor, the CTC for this.
Understood. Is there any other discussion on this item? Let's vote this motion.
Debbie Ahern? Yes. Chris Cutshaw?
Aye.
Edna Green?
No.
Stan Harble?
Yes.
Bobby Hahn?
Aye.
Tim Warner?
Yes.
Peggy Howe?
Yes.
Rodney Long?
Yes.
Mike Reed?
Yes.
Mike Richardson?
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith?
Yes.
Kyle Walker?
Yes.
11-1.
This motion carries.
Item 11G, bid tabulation 2024-044, RFID System, New Justice Center. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, we're suggesting and recommending that we reject the two bids that we received. one, we need more detail in their pricing from both companies. What we want them to do is break it down by what would their pricing be for a 1-year contract, 3-year contract, 5-year contract. So we want to reject these bids and rebid.
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on this item that bid tabulation on 11G be rejected? So as we vote this, it needs to, if you agree with the mayor, it will be a no vote. Is that correct?
Motions to reject
Motion to reject.
would be a yes. What we're recommending.
Oh, you're, okay. Let me restate. The mayor's recommendation is to reject this motion, so a affirmative vote will be needed. Is that duly noted? All minds cleared? Any other discussion? Let's vote this motion. And this motion passes.
Item 11H, bid tabulation 2024-06- metal lockers and benches in the new Justice Center, Business Systems and Consultants, BSC, for $28,892.63. Mr. Mayor.
That is the low bid, and that's what we are recommending.
Do you have anything to add? All right, I make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second for the bid tabulation before you. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Howell?
Yes, sir, thank you. So the metal lockers and the benches were not in our big 103 million?
No.
Okay.
That's part of what's called FF&E that we supply.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, let's vote the motion, please. This motion passes.
Item 11I, budget amendments. Hamblen County Board of Education, budget amendment number 9, increase of $17,670, including $962.20, moving staff development funds to supplies in order to fully expand the Tennessee Arts Commission grant for Tennessee Arts. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. This motion carries.
Item 11I2, Fund 101, multiple categories, $287,420. Make the motion.
We have a motion and we do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. And this motion carries.
Item 11I3, Fund 101, multiple categories, transfer from reserve funds, $8,365. I make the motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. This motion does pass.
Item 11I4, Fund 101, multiple categories, Recognition of grants and other revenues, $642,468. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
This motion passes.
Item 11I5, Fund 116, Solid Waste Sanitation Fund, $36,000. I make the motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 1 nay.
This motion passes.
Item 11I6, Fund 122, Drug Control Fund, $1,138. Make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
This motion passes.
Item 11I7, Fund 128, Drug Use Abatement Fund, $37,350. I make that motion.
We have a motion, and we do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 11I8, Fund 131, Highway Department Fund, $8,000. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 11I9, Fund 151, General Debt Service, $40,000. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please. Mr. Reed? Thank you, sir.
Yea, 0 nay.
And this motion does pass.
Item 11I10, Fund 151, Special Debt Service, $858,814. I make that motion.
We have a motion. We do have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
Yea, 0 nay.
This motion carries.
Item 11I11, Fund 176, Highway Capital Projects Fund, $180,000. I make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, seeing none, let's vote the motion, please. Commissioner Green. Thank you.
Thank you.
10 yea, 2 nay.
And this motion does pass.
Item 11J, Resolution 2422, SRO Program Grant, $1,350,000. I make that motion.
We have a motion,
Second.
and we do have a second. So this is off the board. This was added to our agenda. We have a motion. Chairman Hahn, second. Commissioner Richardson. Is there any discussion on this item? Let's vote this motion, please.
Debbie Ahern? Yes. Chris Cutshaw?
Aye.
Edna Green?
Yes.
Stan Harble?
Yes.
Bobby Hahn?
Aye.
Tim Horner?
Yes.
Joe Huntsman? Peggy Howe?
Yes.
Rodney Long?
Yes.
Mike Reed?
Yes.
Mike Richardson?
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith?
Yes.
Kyle Walker?
Yes.
12-0, this motion does pass.
Item 11K, bid tab 2024-05, communication systems for the new Justice Center.
We have a motion.
Second.
Yeah,
Hold on one
Yeah,
second,
yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
that's where the confusion was, I do believe. Yeah, we had that added as, so for clarification,
That's the RMS.
It was under.
to make it all good, let's, because we added in our regular calendar, this is item 11K. Let's vote that motion. At this point, it was, added there.
Let's see. I have made the motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Commissioner Harvey. Let's call the roll on that one.
Debbie Ahern? Yes. Chris Cutshaw?
Aye.
Edna Green?
No.
Stan Harble?
Yes.
Bobby Hahn?
Aye.
Tim Horner?
Yes.
Peggy Howe?
Yes.
Rodney Long?
Yes.
Mike Reed?
Yes.
Mike Richardson?
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith?
Yes.
Kyle Walker?
Yes.
This motion passes 11-1.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Hahn. We'll now move to item 12. Public Service Committee Chairman Mike Richardson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 12A, surplus items for county clerk. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second for the surplus items. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, hearing none, let's vote the motion, please.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
This motion carries. Thank you, sir. That concludes our regular business. However, we do have several more items to take up at the end of this meeting. At this time, I would like to call on County Mayor Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, I guess, notify the commission. I presented a letter to the chairman today, notifying him and the commission of my retirement date. I'll retire from county mayor on October 1st of 2024. And so at that time, the commission chairman will serve as interim until the commission selects my successor. But I just wanted to make you aware of that, and I'm not going anywhere between now and October. We've got a lot to do between now and then, so we'll be still working at it, getting the new Justice Center open, the new health department started, and all the other projects we've got going on. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Any comments regarding the mayor?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, appreciate everything you've done. Certainly not happy to see you go, but being a retiree, I fully understand it. You got grandbabies calling. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. We will, let's see, we're not complete. 1 second. I'm going to recognize everyone that has something. I'm just trying to keep my my own thoughts together here of what all we need to cover. Okay, before your desk right now, you should have, if you look, it says meetings and notice requirements at your desk. Everyone, please pull that out just a moment. Okay, let's cover something. It has been brought to this commission's attention that we do have a vacancy for Road Commissioner 3 and 4. That position is vacant. And Commissioner Neesmith from that district asked me to check into this, so what we're doing, this requires, if you will let me read, the chair of the county legislative body may call a special meeting upon application in writing by the majority of the body. So what I'm asking, if this body so desires, send an email to me, please, requesting that we have a special call meeting to address this. And we will do so if this body desires, if so, in writing, we will call a special call meeting on July the 8th to take care of this vacancy. We'll have public notices placed in the proper form, and anyone that would like to present themselves to be appointed to fill the unexpired term for Districts 3 and 4 of the Road Commission may do so. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
by law, we have to do this anyway. We gotta replace, by law, we don't have to say we gotta do it.
Well,
Law
there is
says we
there's
gotta do it.
procedure. There is procedure, but yes, sir.
Will that be in front of the July the 8th meeting?
Yes, sir, that will, if this body so desires to call a special call meeting, we will place that in front of our committee meetings on July the 8th. We will convene only for that item. Commissioner Green?
2 questions. First of all, by what Ms. Noy handed out earlier, she left that position in December of '23. Are you going after the money? She wasn't legally a road commissioner, but she got paid.
I'll have to get guidance on that. I don't know how they operate. The road commission should have notified us that there was a vacancy. Didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah,
So,
but that doesn't answer my question, sir.
And I can't answer your question. I cannot answer your question at this minute until we research and figure out what is the right thing to do. Okay? I don't know this. I know there's been other vacancies and absence. We've had them in our own commission, been absent. They get paid. I don't understand. I don't know all there is to know. There's more to be had as far as understanding. So
And
I
may
can't
ma-
answer that.
May I make another comment, sir?
You can.
They're governed by the private act. The private act specifies that they must attend that meeting to be paid.
I think that's duly noted,
It
ma'am.
also states that they have to be the commissioner for that district. And by what I read, and I'm not telling you I'm correct, you're more than welcome to ask the county attorney. But, and that would probably be the best way, to be brutally honest with you. But from what I understand, she wasn't qualified, she wasn't living in the district. That's Hamblen County citizens' money. That's not mine, it's not anybody else's. We need to go after it.
Thank you. Any other comments on this item? Again, it must be stated that you can send an email to me requesting that we have a special call meeting. Next item, Mr. Neesmith, did you have something else that you?
Yeah, you wanna, when we send this email to you, you want us to make a recommendation to
Well, just that
put
you-
somebody in that position?
No, sir, that will be done by the body in public. All I'm asking is that if you desire to have this meeting. That make sense? Next item. Mr. Poole has presented his timesheet for your, to check out. It was requested by, again, Mr. Neesmith asked me to find this, and I did provide that.
Time sheet looks good, but there's nothing on it.
Amen.
We wanted information on it. There's nothing here, but an empty piece of paper with some lines on it.
It's a
You know, how long did they work?
Well, I
That-
mean, are you wanting a used timesheet or a
That's
field?
why that's what timesheets are. It
I
tells
didn't
you how many
understand
hours
that.
it worked,
I
how
didn't
many hours
understand
it got
that.
off, how many hours it absent, how many sick leave hours they had, you know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You might need to check with him on a filled out timesheet. I was under the impression you wanted his model for a timesheet that he
No,
presented to the,
I didn't need to just see a copy of a timesheet without anything being on it.
Next item, there is a tour of the new Justice Center that is scheduled for Thursday, July the 11th at 2024. Excuse me, July the 11th, 2024 at 4 p.m. It should take 2 hours if you'd like to be a part of that tour on July the 11th.
I've got something else
Yes, sir.
let me get to. A while ago, we brought up the camper thing, and you made a comment, we need to send that back to planning.
If we don't send it, that's where it'll come from, yes, sir.
How will they get it? How will they get all these people's recommendations and do things they like and things they don't like? How they get that?
Go before the planning commission.
Huh?
Go before the planning commission is my suggestion. They will take this matter up.
This has already been the planning commission.
Yes, sir.
That's why these people are up here.
Amen.
It's already been, they said no. They voted not to grandfather it in. It's like zoning. You take a zoning and the planning cuts it down, don't agree with it. But yet the next step we got, they bring it before county commission and we take it up and vote on it and approve it. What's the difference? I can't see any difference on it. I want them to get some representation. These people deserve an answer.
Amen.
I don't want to make nobody homeless, and I won't vote to make nobody homeless.
Amen.
There's several ways we can do this thing. You can grandfather them in, just like they did the junkyards. You cannot start a new junkyard in Hamblen County. It can be worded that you cannot start a person living in the county in a camper. Same thing as a junkyard, same thing as a camper. So once you got people living in campers now, you can't have any more. And something that needs to be worked, 2 or 3 things need to be put on this through planning. I'm not on planning commission, but on planning commission where you've, I'm trying to figure out how I say it. I lost my train of thought, but I'll get it here in a minute. Probably about the time I eat breakfast in the morning.
This is hard.
But once you're out of it, you're out of it. You can't go back to your camper. You can't do that. But some rules need to be applied. Who's going to enforce these septic systems? That's a planning thing. That will have to go through the state of Tennessee. That's basically about it. There just need to be some more things brought up before it goes to planning. But my thing is, if it's already been to planning, they've done made their mind up what they're gonna do. I think it needs to come back before this body for a vote on it. And I'd like to see it put on the agenda to bring it before this body for a vote. We know what planning's done. We sit here and listen to these people. Let's see see if we can't get that on the agenda. Can you get that on the agenda for
We can
next
look at it.
meeting?
We can look at it. I need to go through planning and see.
I mean, we
We've
put
got-
everything else on, we bring everything else on this agenda.
Excuse me?
We put everything else on the agenda.
No, we don't.
Just
No,
by
we
the
don't.
seat of your britches, you put something on there.
We do by a 2/3 vote. Yes, sir, we do.
Well, these things is added to the agenda tonight. Were they on here on 2/3 vote?
Sir, they were.
Some of them weren't.
They
Some of them were added.
Absolutely, they were voted in by 2/3 vote to add to our agenda
When did we add them on?
at the very beginning of the meeting in regular calendar.
Bobby, am I right, wrong there?
You are wrong. We did vote that.
Every amendment we brought up tonight was
Yeah,
voted
if you'll
on.
look up at the top of your sheet there, you'll see what we did. And we voted those in.
Did we see these before?
No, these right here. Well, you had those at your desk.
I mean, tonight.
They were added
No.
to our agenda.
We didn't
You know,
get
we've not
before.
seen them before
Yeah.
tonight. I
No,
haven't.
sir, no, sir, that's why they were added to the agenda at the beginning.
Well,
That's correct.
when could we get a vote on this, put it on the agenda? Can we do that now?
No, sir, not right now. It'll be discussed.
It'll be discussed in the next meeting, or we gotta wait?
I can't promise you that. I need to talk with planning and see what their intention are. That's the presiding body over this, over zoning at this point. I will discuss with them.
There again, planning's done made a decision.
I got you, and then this body can take it
All
up.
we need to go back to planning and see if we need to do it. Let the body do it.
Anyone else? Let's see, we've got,
I have one question, being
you're
you,
not on the,
Okay.
yes, you are, I'm sorry, you are speaking.
you're fine, you're
Yeah,
fine.
yes.
I just figured you didn't see me.
I didn't.
Why can we not, I know you sit on planning, I know that Mr. Long and Mr. Doty sit on planning, but why can we not make a suggestion to grandfather this and have a little bit of input to protect the citizens of Hamblen County?
You'll have your point. I'm sure you'll have your say at some point, but I need to go through planning first.
Well, it needs to be put on the agenda. I agree with Mr. Neesmith in every way there. It needs to be put on. Our citizens are in trouble, and I, for one, will not vote to make somebody homeless.
Understood.
Chairman Cutshaw.
That's
I
why
don't see
we
how
advocated
anybody
for a
can.
90-day extension, okay? We advocated for that where work could be done. I have no idea where it's going to go. This body will end up looking at something, I'm sure.
But 90 days is not
I
enough.
understand, I
It's
understand.
just not enough.
Understood.
I was
We're-
talking with Commissioner Howell before the meeting, and she had gotten some direct data to this that absolutely shone a light on it.
Mr. Chairman, I got one more little thing. It ain't long.
Well, we need to yield to Commissioner Howell, if she'll
Okay.
yield to you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Peggy. We brought up the other day that planning had voted you couldn't store a camper on a vacant lot. You've got a camper, you take it to the lake, you bring it back home, you don't wanna park it beside your house. So you've got a vacant lot on a separate piece of property across the road, but you can't store it there. And you said in the last meeting, when it was over, you was gonna go back to planning on this.
I did.
You gone
I
back to
did.
planning?
Yes, sir, I have. I've asked them to take that up because I think they should be able to allow, this body did not take up the verbiage.
Right.
So,
We didn't
yes,
take that up.
I asked them to check that out.
That would have to come back. It was voted on
That's
a
how it
resolution.
works.
It'd have to come back through an amendment to that resolution.
I asked them to take that up. And it'll end up here. Commissioner Walker.
How?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Howell. I did skip Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Peggy.
Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, sir. I did speak to the housing lady today. Today, there are 426 applications she hadn't even looked at and processed. There are 325 on the waiting list who have been processed, and there are 269 in Section 8. I asked if I needed something today. She said you have between up to 24 months or longer. Section 8 is 12 through 24 months or longer. She said in her 16 years, this is the worst it's ever been. So, and she said today, somebody who has 40 units upped the price $451 on the tenants, and I expect a lot of them won't be able to meet that. But I would like to say, if I go to the road commission, if I go to sanitation, if I have people who have a camper or whatever, then I'm involved. And I think that if we went to the planning and we said what we need to say or what we feel about it. Even though they have said one thing, they might change their mind. It may take all of us to do that and still have to come back here, but if our citizens are hurting, then we are involved.
Amen.
And same thing with noise. Goodness gracious, that something needs to be done. And even if, I was talking with the sheriff a little bit earlier before the meeting, and even if the judge throws it out, by golly, somebody had to get dressed and get in front of the judge and wait for 2.5 hours before their item was called forth. And if if that person has to do that 50 times, then there it is. But this affects all of us. If you have somebody in your district, and I believe that because I'm a Hamblen County citizen, if there's a problem, then we all have the problem.
Amen.
And so I hope we'll all make an effort to get to the planning, and we don't want to create homeless. And we've got to fix it for our citizens. And I want to go back on that permit business for the Red Barn. If we are not helping our citizens, what are we doing here?
We're not doing
And I agree that some groups, if they hire an attorney, they may be able to take care of this, but so can we. Or heck, so should we be able to help our citizens say, if you want to operate a venue, here are the parameters. And yes, the parameters changed on June 20. And they'll be going forth. So I hope we'll all not put this off any longer and tackle that issue. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Commissioner Hahn?
I think Mr. Walker was up first.
Okay, Commissioner Walker?
It's all right, go ahead, Bobby.
No, either one.
Well, I just, real quickly, let me interject this because I think I've made it clear to most everyone on the commission and certainly made it public that I'm not looking to evict anybody or create someone being homeless. That is tragic. I can't imagine that. But I do want to let the public understand that back in the 90s, this thing was set into motion. So it's just not anything really new. It's just something that we're now being brought down on us. I don't know the people that are homeless. I don't know what their situation is. I'm sure it's pretty dire. And I will agree, sleeping in the camper is a lot better than sleeping in a tent or under a bridge. I will agree with that. But we've had some situations where small children were playing in sewage, splashing in sewage around their camper, and because they had it just running out on the ground. Now, we all will agree that that's not healthy, that's not a good thing. So we do need some oversight on this. And I'm sure there's a solution. We have to also look at why are these people in this situation? Because I know of two situations right now where people live in the camper. One of them has sewage, the other does not. And the only thing that separates them from me is their motivation. You know, they're capable of work, but they basically refuse to work. Now, and there's jobs. You know, we know there's jobs out there. So when we're hashing this out, we have to understand that, you know, I always said you work for one of two reasons or sometimes both reasons. The first being you're just motivated to work. That's just what you do. And the other is the obvious paycheck. Some of these cases, we've taken the need for money out of the way. We give them a stipend, and they have zero motivation to go get a job. So when you look at this really close, there's no one up here, and I've talked to just about everyone on this commission about, you know, the homelessness, and there's not a one up here. But we're also bound by an oath we took, and we've heard this before, by an oath we took to follow the rules, the regulations, and laws and whatnot of this county. So it's not like we can just come in here and start throwing these things out the window. We have to change some things to get to the point where we can actually, you know, take this up. And I'm wanting to do that with the noise, with the campers, and obviously we've got a timeline here. So understand it's not just like snapping your fingers and saying, okay, you can run your sewage on the ground till you can do better, because we know what happens there, so.
Commissioner Walker?
You know, I brought this to the commission, okay? I dealt with this in my district, okay, of the woman running sewage in the yard. People can't go outside and play. Young lady couldn't have her kids play, okay? We're all talking about grandfathering in the campers that are already there. How about the people, and I've had talks with several people that went to our planning zone, asked about putting a camper in Hamblen County and was told, no, you can't put it in the camper. You can't put it in the county. You can't live in a camper, okay? So they went out and purchased a double-wide trailer because we don't allow single-wides unless you're in agriculture, okay? So those people did the right thing. So now if we go back and say, let's grandfather everybody in that's in a camper, you're punishing the people that did it the way it was supposed to be done, okay? And they had to suffer the consequences. Where's their reward, okay? I get it. I don't want anybody to be homeless either. But we have campgrounds in Hamblen County. We have campgrounds in every county around us that allows campers. You can live in a campground in your camper. That's what it's made for. Now, that campground may not have full-term, year-long camping. If they don't, that's that campground's responsibility to enforce their rules. Okay? It's not the commissioners. Okay? But you're all looking at why it benefits you. We have to look at every citizen in Hamblen County, how it benefits them. Okay? We have people that live in subdivisions that have campers in a subdivision. When they bought that property, they didn't want to buy a house with a camper right next door to them. But we have that going on. We have people that have several campers in a subdivision next door to people. That wasn't what a subdivision was built for. I get it, and I've talked to commissioners about how do we fix this, okay? But there's places that campers should be allowed, and there's places they should not be allowed. And they should never be allowed in a residential zone.
Please.
And we have that.
Order, please.
We have that.
Floor. He has the floor.
But we should also, you can't just have whatever you want to have. If we're going to say it's okay for campers to be anywhere because I own the property, then we should not go after the Red Barn and say, you can't play your music because he owns that property. There's no difference. If you're going to tell one person they can't do anything on their land, then we can't tell anybody else they can't do anything. That's what we're not, people aren't understanding. You don't like the noise, then you're going to say, you don't like it, move. Same way with, you don't like a camper in your yard, neighbor's yard, move. We've created the problem in Hamblen County because everybody wanted to move to Hamblen County because we were a wonderful county. That's all we're trying to do is keep that where people still want to come to Hamblen County. Okay? But just like Bobby said, you can walk out the door and find every place in Hamblen County hiring. Okay? There's jobs out here for people to work. Okay? Just like I struggled when I bought my house, I had to struggle and make sacrifices. We have to make decisions. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm talking out to the commission.
Ma'am, please refrain. Please, you do not have the floor right now. Thank
Okay?
you.
But, You know, we gotta move on this camper thing. There's good and bads both ways, I will agree. But I think it starts, Chris, as you said, it needs to start in zoning.
Thank you, Kyle. No, ma'am, this is, your time is over. I apologize, but no, ma'am. You can come back our next meeting, and this is, commissioners. Does anyone else like to have a comment tonight?
I have several, if you don't care, please, sir.
Start.
No, no apologies necessary, I'm just asking. The last committee meeting, you had given us the form tonight from Mr. Poole, and I appreciate that, I wanted to tell you that. But the last meeting he addressed us, he said that he wanted to be able to go back and tell the road employees, highway sanitation, that ever what it came out being, it was the county commission. It wasn't him. So my problem tonight is I have a copy of the comptroller's report laying with me this morning. Well, tonight, I apologize, sir. But anyway, my point is the records were not accurate. We need accuracy, and somebody needs to account for that accuracy, whether it's Mr. Poole or anybody else. I would like to see this commission put it on there to check, to make sure that it is accurate and to the T. You and I had a brief discussion before the meeting. Mr. Poole tried to put it off on us. He is an elected official, which would put the ball in his ballpark. We don't set his employees' time schedules. We don't do any of that. But we need some accountability there.
Thank you, ma'am. What else?
I'd also like to find a way for the folks that have brought in the camper issue. I'd like to know how many people and how long they've been at Cherokee Park. Is there records showing how long they've been there? Because you discussed earlier about a limit on how long they could be there. We need to be asking some questions. If we're gonna make it hard on these folks, it needs to be across the board. Now, I'll be honest with you. I can't make anybody homeless, and I will not vote for that. But that's my conscience. I have to face God for myself. But I can understand where these people are coming from, but I don't see why we can't grandfather it in. I will tell you, Mr. Doty's not here tonight, but I was most proud of the motion that he made during planning, asking them to grandfather it in. They didn't get enough votes to pass, but he's not here, and I believe in giving you kudos. He did an outstanding job, and I'm proud of him.
Thank you. All minds clear? We're adjourned.